Howdy. CharLee Simons here. Yep, that's me, your host here on Do Not Talk, talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion. One decides what life is going to be like here on earth, the other one decides what it's going to be like when we leave it. Makes it kind of important. I'm glad some of us, at least, are finally talking about it. The silent majority has finally found its voice, at least a few. So hopefully we can get more than that. And people like Randy Economy, my guest here on this show, is spearheading a dramatic shift. He is not just talk, he's action. And those are the people I like and respect and want to introduce you to. Fire Gavin Newsom, Governor Hairdo. Hey, let's check back on how that whole high-speed rail thing was going. This was Jerry Brown's big idea before Governor Hairdo. But 6 years ago, Governor Hairdo gave us this report.
Let's get this 171-mile project done. Okay. My commitment in that state of the state was to refocus our efforts, to double down on the Central Valley, but to extend it to Merced and Bakersfield.
Wow.
And basically capture the existing and available funds. Existing meaning the bird in the hand on the ARA grant, what's remaining of the federal dollars, part of the $3.5 billion, and then the $9.95 billion in the Prop 1A, and what remains there, plus the 25% of cap and trade that's authorized through 2030. That's a little over $20 billion.
It was your idea, but federal needs to pay for it.
We have framed that. 171 miles, we can get this project done.
There you go.
Today, we announced some of the new NEPA protocols that we were able to take advantage of with the administration. When that tit for tat, they actually opened up the opportunity for the state to drive some of the environmental reviews more expeditiously, and that.
Let's check in now.
This is about to get very, very real.
The state of California and its high-speed rail authority, so they posted photos of the first completed high-speed rail structures. Look at this thing. It looks like a slab of concrete just laying there, right? The numbers are mind-boggling. Took 9 years, $11 billion. And you know how long it would take if you wanted to walk across 1,600 feet the slab? 5 minutes. So it's just nuts.
That's, you know what? We can't go back. We just have to accept the responsibility of where we are.
Right.
And that's exactly what we are doing.
You take no responsibility for anything. You're a liar. And you're doing your father's work just as quickly as possible. He's the father of lies. His time is short. They've been trying to dismantle and destroy the state of California because you can't take down the strongest nation in the world. You can't usher in your one world government, your new world order, with the United States of America in the way, especially when once in a while we get it right and put somebody into power like Ronald Reagan, like, I don't know, Donald Trump. You can't be giving independent people and the population that kind of power, make those kind of changes. You can't take that away from them. You can't destroy the United States of America without taking down the state of California. I think that's why so much of this is spearheaded right here. Randy Economy, welcome to the show, my friend. It's nice to have you back. What's up, Bubba?
Hey, what's going on there, big guy? How are you?
I'm borderline amazing.
Greetings from sunny Palm Desert, California.
Oh, is that where you are right now? All right.
There you go, yeah.
And
weekend Randy, one of the Coachella Music Festival is done, which is I'm glad about. So
you're glad that's over. Yeah, what happens? What happens to the population when that Coachella Music Festival explodes?
You know, we only have about I'd say about 250,000 residents full time in our 9 or 10 little communities here. But we ended up getting about double the population in that. It's actually a 3-week period. It's because after this we have the country festival that's on after that one. So you get 3 weekends of different types of partiers and revelers, and hotel rooms are going for $2,500 a night, Charlie. $2,500 a night. That's, I don't know, head scratching, but it is what it is. But I love living here, even during the hot August years. It's not a bad thing.
Well, I love living in California. I'm born and bred here. This is my state, and I'm a little too stubborn to bolt like so many of my friends have done. They've moved away. They're gone. They're
Yeah.
not coming back.
No,
One of
they're
my
not.
first questions every time I talk to them is, well, do you miss it? No, no, they don't even hesitate. No, I don't miss it at all. And every time I see what's going on in the news and what's happening back in my original home state, I'm glad I left. That's what I hear from all of them. Not
Yeah.
one says, well, I kind of miss this or that. Nope. They're glad they got out. But I'm a fighter, and I
Me
don't
too.
want to roll over and let pieces of crap and swine like Governor Hare do dismantle and destroy everything that I've always loved. And this has been a long, long process, hasn't it now? The last time we had a successful recall of a governor was Gray Davis.
Yes.
And that ushered in the era of Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, which I think was a huge mistake. I wish we wouldn't have done that. We had some other great candidates, including Tom McClintock, who,
Yep.
before he went seemingly all rhino like he is now, I thought he was quite a staunch and rock solid conservative. You just never know with these people who's buying them out, who's paying them off, who's shutting them up, who's got to them. And some of them just hang in there because they love the perks, they love the money. They don't really do anything, do they now?
You know what? It's sad, but that's the price of politics. When you pay people millions of dollars to become a member of Congress, and they say, "Oh, their salary is only $220,000 or $195,000." No, it's not. I mean, you start looking at all the perks and benefits and the stock options and the insider trading that goes on. It's a crime. The U.S. Capitol has become the biggest crime scene in world history, so to speak, and we can't do anything about it. But we can do something here in California to hold one really crappy politician accountable in Gavin Newsom, and that's by firing him.
He's only got a year and a half left in his term. Why don't you just let him finish out, and then we'll start fresh from there?
I don't care if he has 2 hours left in his term. The man needs to be fired. I don't care if he has 2 weeks left or 2 months left or 19 months left or 23 months left.
Exactly.
He needs to be fired.
Yeah.
And so I'm not buying the argument, oh, Randy, this is just going to be so expensive. And, oh, just let him finish out his term. I'm not going to do that. I think people like
that means
you
he will not be held accountable for his horrific actions that he's done in this incredible position of power, and he has done many of them, including the dismantling of parents' rights over their own children.
Look at what happened in Paradise, California, with the fires up there. How much of that has been rebuilt? Look at what's going on in Pacific Palisades and in Altadena. Altadena is one of the richest, most beautiful communities around, and I'm not saying wealth-wise, I'm talking people-wise. They have proud heritage in Altadena. If you're from Altadena, that means something to the community up there. And it's gone. It's completely devastated and gone. And he let these places burn down. So he can, in his sick mind, reimagine California by having, several square miles of land available to him to be his political think tank, to be his.
Out of the hundreds of people,
on how to move forward, and it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening.
Hundreds and hundreds of people who lost everything, in the
thousands of people
and thousands of structures destroyed. The permits to rebuild that have been actually approved.
I think there's three permits have been.
Last I heard, 4. That's
maybe 4. Yeah.
But don't forget, Governor Hairdo was dancing around to the camera, getting all giddy and excited when he was talking about, we're going to turn this into a smart city. He didn't.
We're going to move this thing forward. We're going to do this. Yeah, and the hand jive and the whole 9 yards. Yeah. And then he's bringing in Magic Johnson, and he's bringing in Casey Wasserman because he's helping with the Olympics, and he's bringing in this billionaire to be able to reimagine what this stuff looks like. I don't want him to reimagine anything. I want the property owners who lost everything to reimagine their own individual lives.
Right.
That's part of the deal. They don't have a voice on anything. And I think that's the frustration that they have. And it's not going to be rebuilt. I'm telling you, it is not going to be rebuilt anytime soon. No. And then you got this nut job, Karen Bass, who's the mayor of Los Angeles, who's worse than Gavin Newsom is. I mean, they're just 2 peas in a pod. And she's just as militant and as aggressive as he is.
Communist.
Yeah. I hate to even like have to go there and say these words and 2025.
What they
But
are. And the CCP is basically running the state, has been for quite a while now.
I don't know who's running the state, but I know it's not Gavin Newsom, and I know it's not Karen Bass. These people are too dumb.
Yeah, they're not smart
to
enough
manage anything. So who's running California? Well, I'd like to have the people run California.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have facing us here in this election. I don't know what's going to happen in the next disaster in 30 days, in a couple of weeks. I don't know what the next fire is going to bring. We had a 6.1 earthquake or 5.9 earthquake yesterday. I thought everybody's
San Diego, yeah.
Or 5.1 earthquake, and I thought the world was going to come to an end because we had a 5.1 earthquake. I got rocked really good here in the desert. But again, that's just emblematic of where we are. We're right on the cusp of having something really terrible and tragic to happen, just like those fires did up in the Palisades and in Altadena. And when that happens, you only can look at one person, and that's the people who are responsible for helping us and saving our lives and protecting us.
We came so close. And one of them you were a major contributing factor in. And I really believe that we did win and that there was rampant fraud, because I'll never forget Governor Hairdo's press conference the night before the special election, the recall election, the night before. He was dancing around and all giddy. And I turned to my friends then and I said, the fix is in.
The fix is in. And Charlie, I had the honor of serving as the senior advisor of that campaign, and I was the guy in front of the camera. I was the spokesperson, and I did close to, I think I lost count after 2,500 interviews that I had done, and generally the media was really receptive. They were, sometimes I would do 25 and up to 50 interviews in a 24-hour period. On this particular recall, there's been zero, maybe 4 or 5 stories that have been out there thus far in regards to this. We had a press conference with Mel Gibson. We generated about 30 stories for that, but since then it's gone completely tone. It's zero, and so I know that the media is tired. I know that they're lazy. I'm a former member of the media myself. I was never lazy.
There it is.
But I do know that the world of media has changed. That's why when we have people like you and people like me and others that have a strong voice in their communities, you want to spend the time to be able to talk to you and to your listeners.
More than ever.
Viewers, more than ever, because that matters. It really does matter. So traditional media is, I think it's literally on the way out. I think, we're at a stage right now where people are running for governor already in 2026. For the life of me, I don't understand why they don't want to get involved front and center on this movement to fire Gavin Newsom. It astonishes me. It astonishes me that some members of the people who you think are traditional supporters of causes like this are basically saying, well, this is a complete waste of time.
If nothing else, it's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do. And no, it's not a waste of time.
If we fire that Governor Hairdo, it's going to ruin any chance for him to run for president in 2018.
I don't care about him running for president. I care about him being fired as governor of California.
Yeah, you're right.
If we can do that first, then that, I think that sends a message not only to people here in California, but throughout the country and throughout the world, that if he can't be trusted in his own state, he can't be trusted anywhere. There is a poll that was commissioned, and the results are coming out today and tomorrow. I will tell you, I'm extremely ecstatic by the numbers, and I think that's going to make a lot of headlines because it's very newsworthy. And he's not as popular as people think. And I think that the recall right now is doing pretty darn good. So I'm excited about that. There's voter fatigue, but there's voter fatigue every election. We vote too often in California. We need to have election day. We don't need to have these constant election seasons. that just go on endlessly because people just get to the point where they throw their hands up and saying, "Oh no, not another election. Are you kidding me?"
Right.
And the most important person that you can vote for is your local city councilman and your local school board
Amen.
member and your local
Yes.
water board member.
Yes.
And those
Yes.
are the most important people on the ballot, but they don't get any respect. They don't even get the love and the attention that they should, because those are one who put where the rubber meets the road. But anyway, we're not backing down on this campaign. I'm very excited. If you want to help us anytime, any way, we've made it as simple as possible through our website, savingcalifornia.vote. That's savingcalifornia.vote. And people can literally just download, print the petition, sign it, and mail it in. It's that simple.
That's great. And I got groups that I'm involved with up here in Northern California, and we're showing up at places, and
You guys are amazing. I love you all. I'm going to, on May 10th, I'll be at leading a parade of people and protesters literally on the Golden Gate Bridge. And to me, that's emblematic of where California is, because, open up your heart, open up your gate, open up your world to the Golden Gate. And, San Francisco's unrecognizable now.
You're right.
And it's sad.
So the whole
California's
petition thing, I mean, they keep throwing hurdles in front of you.
They have. It took us close to 40 days. Once we had the initial petition approved, they said, "Okay, yeah, you've got the initial approval. Now let me take a look at a few little fine things here." And I am not kidding. There was like semicolon in the wrong place, and they said, "No, you need 10 days to fix this." This word should be capitalized.
Because they know they don't want you to build.
They don't want you to do it. When the Secretary of State doesn't want you to have to be involved in democracy, and their job is to basically facilitate the will of the people, you got a problem. But we persevered, and I'm thrilled to death that we have this campaign up and running and flying on all cylinders. For God's sakes, I got Mel Gibson. We have Mel Gibson as the guy who is the chairman of the campaign and the public face of this campaign. Because right now, Mel Gibson lost everything in the fire. And there's a million people like Mel Gibson who have lost so much here in California. But it's the fact that he took the time to pick up that 8-ounce phone of his and call me almost at midnight one night and saying, "Randy, I have to get involved in this." And that's a blessing. And even though, he's swamped right now with the reboot of Passion of the Christ and a lot of other projects that he's working on right now, he took the time to come to an event, do our press conference, come publicly out in favor of this particular recall. And to me, that's absolutely priceless. We need a lot more people like Mel Gibson who are standing up, more people like you, CharLee, more people like me who are willing to take on the fight. We can't have another 2 years of Gavin Newsom. We can't have 2 more months of this guy, let alone 2 more weeks. He has to be fired. And I think you talked about some of the things that he has done thus far. Even if you look at just the train to nowhere, that's unacceptable. Yet we're spending, I don't even know how many billions of dollars have been just thrown away on that project, and it will never be built. It'll never be built.
If a CEO of a corporation wasted this kind of money and did these kind of stupid things, they would have been fired a long time ago and would have never worked in the business again. No. But yet here we've got the 5th or 6th largest corporation in the world being run by this chowderhead who is just one thing after another. But I'm fully convinced you're right. He's not the one actually calling these shots. I think there's higher powers telling him what he's going to do and what he's going to say. He's just lucky to be hanging on. The only reason why is he looked good and sounded good and said the right things. And he's
CharLee, he's gotten very gray the last couple of months. Have you noticed that? He's almost completely gray now. And if I can have been one of the responsible parties to giving him just one extra gray hair, I will have accomplished something great. I love my gray hair.
Accomplished something great.
But you sit and think about it. He's aged dramatically, and I think when you have people like Bernie Sanders and AOC come into California.
What the hell is that all about?
And it creates a huge, massive
of California coming up here to NorCal as well.
He's coming there tonight. But here's what it's about, in my opinion. It's not about the Democratic Party anymore. the Democratic Party is basically dead on arrival, and they don't know how to respond to this. The traditional Democratic Party, the rank and file Democrats, they don't know how to respond to this because those rallies are not traditional Democratic Party rallies.
And they bust in the crowds.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at even
photographic evidence,
look at all the hundreds of millions of dollars that Kamala Harris spent on her rallies and all the celebrities that she gave $1 million checks that most of them bounced, by the way, or never got their payments. That's a traditional Democratic Party.
Yeah.
The traditional Democratic Party doesn't even recognize what the hell their party even stands for now, because it doesn't stand for anything. Not to saying that the Republican Party here in California is any better, but again, we have to work with what we have to deal with. And what we have to deal with is the fact that we have got millions of people right now that are angry. They're pissed off. They're angry. They want to fire this guy. And so we're doing everything we can to accommodate each of those individual wishes and their desires, and to make sure that they have the tools needed to be successful in this campaign. And thank God for rural California. It really does make a huge difference. Yeah, if you get a signature from Folsom, it's just as important as getting a signature from Los Angeles.
I want to know who's paying for this. I want to know who is paying for this little tour of AOC and Bernie Sanders, too ridiculously.
Well, I'm sure it's George Soros, and I'm sure that it's his son, who's the new heir apparent to
Alex.
Yeah, Alex Soros and Umidine Ama. I mean, his new soon-to-be bride, and who worked directly with Clinton's. That's the ones who's doing this, and they're like, I mean, and it's a real well orchestrated machine with signs and T-shirts, and I mean the sponsorships and the whole thing is just it reeks of. It just didn't pop up overnight. Let's just put it that way.
No,
we know how long it takes.
To what end?
We know how long it takes to plan one rally.
Do you think it's to garner more campaign contributions to just the Democrat Party in general, or what?
I don't think this has anything to do with the Democratic Party. I really don't. I think it has something to do much deeper and much darker than organized politics. And I think when you have Bernie Sanders, if you look at his speech that he gives every single night, that's the same speech he's been given for 40 years.
Oh, hell yeah.
So nothing's changed. But if you get this new generation of people showing up to his rallies, they think it's the greatest thing they've ever heard in their lives.
Right.
For God's sakes, he walked out on the stage in Coachella spewing we got to stop the oligarchy. We got to do that. Are you freaking kidding me? Those people spent big money to be able to be entertained, not to be poisoned by this idiot. And man, if I was one of those people who spent $3,000 on tickets and the hassle of getting actually over to Coachella, I'd be asking for a refund. Say, how dare you bring this asshole to my
Absolutely. And this is very telling about Governor Hairdo's popularity now. I've not heard of him being invited to any of them, any of this little AOC Bernie Sanders tour. Governor,
and if he had the courage, and I'm not even go any more descriptive in regards to that. If he had any type of gravitas or any type of courage, he'd show up, he'd speak at that rally, but he's not wanted. They don't want him there because it's not about his style of politics. It's about their style of politics and them being able to control the Democratic Party. There's a story running around right now saying, I guess the dream team of 2020, the next the next presidential election will be Bernie Sanders for president and AOC for vice president. And I'm thinking, oh God, I hope so. God, I hope so. Bring it on. Get them started immediately. Please declare them the leaders of whatever party that they're going to be running under, because it's just, you can't make it. It's even more priceless. CharLee, listen, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. I'm a non-party. I'm a non-NPP. That doesn't mean to say that I don't have conservative values, and that doesn't mean to say that I support President Trump. I do support President Trump. I support what it is that he's trying to get accomplished. We got to put America first. We can't keep doing this, be the good guy to the world because it's not getting us anywhere.
Right.
So I support his agenda, and I thank God he's president right now as opposed to having Kamala Harris being president.
Amen.
I don't even know what role Gavin would be playing in the administration right now. He wouldn't be governor of California anymore. She would have given him some type of secretary job, and he would fade into obscurity so she can keep an eye on him. She can't keep an eye on him now. Even though they have the same political they share the same political consultants, Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris, the same team.
Wow.
People don't realize that.
I didn't.
Yeah. And, and you're kind of in the know, and that's kind of humorous to me because you can't write a script like this.
This has to happen, Randy. This has to happen. So
I feel the pressure and the weight of Californians on me and my team to be able to get this done. And, and I thank God for Mel Gibson, and I thank God for so many others who.
Adam Carolla.
I love Adam.
Schneider is another one that's
I talk to Rob on a regular basis, and I'm talking to Adam on a regular basis. I'm trying to get through to him, and they have a seat at the table and a place on the bus, so to speak.
And here in California, we're
right next to me on the podium. I mean, because this
we are impressed by celebrity in the state of California.
Well, I mean, good
sometimes to our detriment, but there's a lot of celebrities who lost everything in SoCal in those big fires, and they saw the light, didn't they? Now,
boy, did they ever! And I think when they do these photo op press conferences constantly that Mayor Bass is doing now. You haven't seen Governor Newsom hasn't been around the fires in 2 months now. I don't think. I don't think he's done anything in regards to the fires except for he made some I'm so sad, I'm so sorry, and then laughing out of his ass, trying to talk to Joe Biden and cracking up over things. He's a sick man, and he needs to be retired. And he needs to just go figure out something to do with the rest of his life.
Absolutely. And a great start is
firing him.
That clown.
Fire Gavin Newsom. I should have called the campaign Fire Gavin Newsom.
Fire Governor Hairdo. SavingCalifornia.vote. SavingCalifornia.vote. SavingCalifornia.vote.
Vote. That's why we did the vote. It's for victory.
That's right. I love it. I want it to happen.
I do too, Charlie.
It's imperative. It's vitally important to the future of our state and our nation. So thank you, Randy Economy. Go get them, buddy. And anything I can do to help, count on me.
You're doing it, man. Thank you, and God bless you. And thanks, guys, for everything. And let's get those signatures in.
Right back at you, and we are getting those signatures in. And I would love to see you get involved and help and just spread the word. Start sharing this show and supporting any way you can. SavingCalifornia.vote. Start there. Great website. Has all the information and how you can get involved, how you can help. Why not actually get some petitions signed? Learn how to do that there. Why not? I mean, spend a Saturday or a Sunday sitting in front of your Costco or whatever else. Just meet people, meet your neighbors, go door to door. Try it. Why not? Give it a shot. Why not? What do we got to lose? Everything. We got to be involved. Go to my website as well if you want to help this show. Ways to do it is there through Venmo, through GiveSendGo. You want to financially support me, that would be nice. I'd appreciate the help. Thank you very much. Pray about it. This is a ministry. CharLeeSimons.com, my new website there. CharLeeSimons.com, spelt just like you see down there, right there. CharLeeSimons. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America, but most importantly, America bless God.